Hey you, my name is Jer. I suck at EVE Online, and in addition to sucking, I also never have enough time to play. So when I do have time to play, I like to spend it doing what I want to do, whether it's exploration, missions, abyssals. I want to do the thing that I think fun, and for me, often hauling is not the fun part. And this video is about Highsec Buyback, a service that will buy things from you for a fair price anywhere in Highsec and basically do the hauling for you. That's how I think of it. You can do your work, whatever it is. For me, exploration is the perfect example of where this service is so good, but there's all kinds of different examples. In this video, I want to talk about how awesome Highsec Buyback is, how cool it is that it's just a bunch of players running it. Like, this is something that could just be part of the game, but it's not. But they make it work and they make it so incredible and reliable. So I love them. I want to promote them. I want everyone to know about this. I don't understand how they make it work. To me, it seems impossible for this to be so profitable for them because it's so convenient for us. You can go to any Highsec system, point 0.5 or higher, and to any station at all, and they will give you 90% of Jita buy on most items. Not all items. We'll talk about how the different items have different percentages. But for a lot of items, for example, the exploration items certainly qualify. They will give you such a good deal, and you can just not even think about hauling. No more bringing it to Jita or Dodixie or Amar. No more worrying about those gankers when you try and bring it. No more doing multiple trips so that the gankers don't want to bother with you. Uh, Highsec Buyback is excruciatingly useful, and there's no way to learn about it in the game without watching videos and stuff. So that's why I made this video so you can learn about it. CCP should just like pay these guys to be part of the company. All right. So how does it work? Basically, so I have just finished a whole round of exploration. I'm doing the Winter Nexus event, which isn't particularly important. More or less, this is exactly the same as if I had done normal exploration. And I have all the items I want to sell here. I'm in my ship now just so we can have something pretty to look at, but I can practice here. I select all, I copy, and I go to their website, highsec.evebuyback.com. It's a super simple website. It sort of explains itself, but I'll just show you how the first step, you paste, I copied that list and I pasted into the browser. I submit. This doesn't do anything except tell you how much it'll be worth. So we can see I copied it all, and that's worth 48 million, right? And so that's how much I'll get, and we can look and see what they're giving me. So for some of these things, they're giving me 94% of the Jita buy price. So that would be if you walked into Jita and just right-click sell immediately, what would you get? You would get a certain price, and this is 94% of it. It's so worth it because, for example, right now I'm not near Jita, I'm near Renz. And Renz is so much worse than Jita at selling things that even though I'm actually right next to the trade hub for the Minmatar space, I would get way worse prices than what they're offering me by offering me the 90% of Jita buy. Jita usually has really high buy prices compared to a lot of the other ones. But we could scroll down and see, okay, is there anything with a really bad rate? See, this is only 81%, and some things are only 73%. But often they're not the things that matter, right? What you care about is the things at the top. Like I got this that's worth 8 million, and for whatever reason, they're actually giving me even more. So the I wanted to say that the winter event is a good example because you have all these annoying overseers effects that are pretty heavy and they'll haul them for you. Also for some of the dangers that we'll talk about later where certain items don't have the right price as Jita buy. And so you can end up having much less value than you should. Um, One thing I'll say, so in terms of like just anywhere in Highsec and that aspect of it, I'm going to bring this over and I'm going to open up. So here I am. I've got my EVA. Don't worry too much if you're not familiar with this, but you can see that the green are Highsec systems, right? 0.5, 0.7, and the orange is low sec systems. And so the way I do it is when I'm exploring, I don't want to explore in Highsec except for this specific winter event where actually I do. But normally I'm exploring in low sec wormholes or null sec. But with Highsec Buyback, what I can do is I can go way far away from one of these trade hubs. You know, I showed in my other video how I go to the middle of nowhere, basically, because there's less people, no one is fighting you, no one is contesting the sites. And then all you have to do is make it back to any random Highsec system. So if I was over here, you know, doing these ones, all I have to do is get to Ronico. It doesn't matter if Ronico is like 20 jumps away from the nearest trade hub. I could sell it there and then go right back to exploring in my safe or isolated or more profitable part of space, right? And if you're in a wormhole, you could just jump around wormholes until you get to the a Highsec connection and then connect to that, whatever that is, drop into that system, go into a station, sell everything to Highsec Buyback and go straight back into the wormhole and start going crazy and going to nullsec and doing all the things that are really profitable. Okay, so a couple thoughts on this. When does it not make sense to do this? Well, if you're already right next to Jita for some reason, then you'll make more by going to Jita and selling everything there. That's probably not the case. And actually, that's terrible advice because everything is overdone in Jita. It's harder to make a profit anywhere near Jita because there's so many people there trying to make a profit. You know what I mean? All right. So the one time when it's not making sense is when you are in a corporation and the corporation has a buyback program. And this, you know, it's called Highsec Buyback. It's named after the thing where corporations will say, come to our corporation base, give us a contract, sell us your stuff, and we will buy it all from you. And they'll often give even better prices. For example, Eve University, my corporation, I made another video about them. I'll try and put the tag up. They offer a buyback program that gives you 95% of Jita, and it gives you on everything except ore. They have like two programs, one for mining, but everything except ore, and this applies to Highsec Buyback as well. Ore will be the thing with a really low percentage because it's so hard to move around. That's why. Um, so if you're in a corporation and you have your stuff, you know, near the HQ and they have a buyback, well, okay, of course, use the corporation buyback. But for things like exploration, where you want to be out in the middle of nowhere, it completely makes sense to use Highsec Buyback. And right now it's the winter event. And the thing about the winter event is you need to go to the wherever the metaliminal storms are. And that's specific systems that probably statistically probably aren't where your corporation has buyback. So in times like this, and there's a lot of events like this, it really makes sense to just drop your stuff off at random Highsec stations, set up the contract for Highsec Buyback, and then go out and keep flying and keep making profit and profit from all that time you're spending not hauling. Okay, and so the next thing I wanted to talk about was just some of the stuff that doesn't make sense for Highsec Buyback. So the rule for them is anything except uh, blueprints. You can't put in blueprints, and it's actually really annoying when I'm doing exploration and I get blueprints and I don't know what to do with them. I end up just keeping them into my ship until my ship blows up, which is not ideal. But what you can do, you just got to eventually bring those to a trade hub and put them up on contract. There's no other way to sell them. Blueprints are just a pain in the butt, more or less, and there's no way of avoiding it. And then the other stuff is the stuff that's not 90%. And so you got to be careful and pay attention. You know, like, look, this is only 16%. But the real problem is that this is a skin and the value is probably wrong. So look, Arbitrator Glacial Drift Skin. I want to use this as an example because you should be very careful about putting skins in, especially brand new skins that you're getting during events like this winter event. So if I copy this and I'm going to come over to Eve Tycoon, which has a market checker. So I can go to Arbitrator Glacial Drift Skin, and I can see that in Jita, it's going for 1.5 million pretty regularly, and that okay up to a month ago. So it's been around for a while. This is a fairly stable one at 1.5 million, but they don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with skins, so you're only going to get 16%. So you got to ask yourself, okay, should I even bother? Right? You're better off either getting this to a trade hub or just inject it yourself and use it. But either way, you want to be careful with skins and certain special event things. Other ones that are like that might be these Highsec Ice Storm filaments. This is a special one from this current event. And then some of the boosters I find can end up really having the wrong prices on here because they are new. If I search for this here, White Storm, oh, I can't even find this one. So this one might have a good price in Jita. So be careful. Sometimes you want to just keep them, like use the booster, look at what it does, see if it's useful for you. And then other ones you're going to say, oh, no, this one, this brain freeze is very valuable to someone else. I'm going to let them have it. And that was 90% of Jita buy, so that should be fine. All right. So let's dock up. So I'm going to come back in here. I already looted this can, so I am going to just go to any random station. So you can see I'm right next to Ren's. I could go to the trade hub to do this, but why bother when I could go to any random square on the overview and set up this contract. And what we're going to do is set up a contract, right? And we're gonna, oh, well, what we'll do is we'll go in our inventory and then select them all into a contract, but we have to be in the station for that. So I am going to let us land here. And just to go back and review, what I wanted to do was sort of do it live to just think it through. The overseers effects, we're definitely letting them take care of that. I don't want to have to haul it somewhere. But there was a couple here. Well, so we'll come back here. All right. So if I open up my full items, I have to bring them all. So wait, I'm going to do my not scanner, not blueprints, because I don't want blueprints. So I'm going to bring my items to the hangar. Okay, and I have this filter here that says don't show scanning probes and don't show blueprints. These are the things that I'm not going to, the probes obviously just because it's an exploration ship, I want to keep them. And then the blueprints because they won't take them. They don't want them. Okay, so what I'm going to do actually here is I'm going to take, see, because this skin, yeah, so it knows here that it's worth something, 1.7 million, but for whatever reason, the website doesn't get it. So be careful about that. I'm not sure why, but what I'll do is I am just going to take the skins out of this list and put them back in my ship. I'll figure out what I want to do with those later. Wait. Oh yeah, moon. Okay, is there any other here? And then the brain freeze. Yeah, okay. These filaments, for now, I'm holding on to them because I think I might use them. This cargo scanner actually was something I want to keep using. Boo. What else we got? Some filaments. Oh, I want to keep some snowballs because they're useful for the event. Oh, that's right. I need to go shoot a capsuleer with a snowball. Data cores. I don't use the fireworks. I don't got time for that. Overclocker, not interesting. Overclocker, Pyrolancia. Okay, and that's worth something. And so something you can do is sort here by price. So any boosters during events tend to be very unusual. This one is a timed booster, so I kind of do want to get rid of it quickly because it's going to expire. So this shows 11 million. Let's make sure that that's showing a good price here. I think we already looked at that. Yeah. So that was 8 million. All right. So we're doing all right. They're gonna take care of it for us, right? They're gonna sell it for us. They're gonna do everything. Okay. Oh, and this one is interesting. 4 million. And I noticed before that it's not. It's worth very little. Airlock. Okay. Yeah. They only want to give me 2,000 for this. I think part of the reason is it's worthless. It doesn't do anything. It's like a weird kind of gimmick item. But I'm not going to sell that because it's not worth it. Okay, so now I'm going to take everything else. I'm going to select all. Okay, so this says it's worth 56 million. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to choose create contract. All right, I'm an alpha, so I can only do one contract at a time, but that's fine because you only need one to do this. And compared to selling things in contracts, like that's part of the problem with the blueprints is they're also constrained by having only one contract. But I type Highsec Buyback. So basically, right, to go over it, it's an item exchange, right? So I'm gonna tell them what I give them. I'm gonna tell them what they give me. In this case, I'm gonna give them all the items, and they're gonna give me the price they quoted me on the website. It's private, and the name is Highsec Buyback. I click next, and it's going to search. So that text doesn't pick it. This does. This just controls what shows here. And it's this first one with the star. It's not the end of the world if you somehow got it wrong, because all anyone could do with this is give you the amount of money that Highsec Buyback promised you. All right, so here we are. We can confirm all this. And luckily they fixed this. So this should only show what you selected. And if you had unselected anything, it shouldn't be there. But worst case, you could come and unselect something if you made a mistake and you accidentally had your, your probes or whatever was in here. Great. So next, I have everything ticked. It looks good. Next, okay. So I will pay nothing. I will receive, okay. And if I come back, what I need to do is come back here. Okay. So wait, I'm going to come back and copy this again. Now that I've removed some items, I need to make sure right before you do the contract, you should come back here and reset this, double check it, submit, and let's see how much we're going to get. Okay, 4,000, and I'm going to copy price, which copies this number to my clipboard, come back here, and whoops, no, what I want to do is get to the contract. All right, so, and I just paste it in here and I will receive. Right? And what they do is they know, they have some way of knowing that this group of items, that they quoted this price, and so they're going to accept it. I set the time for 2 weeks. It tends to come back in 1 hour. Sometimes it takes 2 hours. I've seen it takes 4 hours on really busy days, but most of the time, even late at night, there's someone answering this really quickly. It's really impressive. So if you're an alpha, you don't want to do it too often. You want to have a plan, but worst case scenario, you usually just have to wait a couple hours before you can do another one. All right, so, and then if I click next, it's going to confirm so I paid 10,000 for the contract, which is nothing. I get 48 million and I give them all this stuff. Finish. Really create contract? Yes. All right, and all the stuff is gone and there's the contract there. And any minute now, I expect to get a little notification on my wallet saying that the contract was accepted. And just to show you how it ends up looking is you get these, no, not that, but these ones. No, price for accepting a contract. So they got 83 million to me that time, 31, 22. It can be as big as you want. I got 142 one time, 103. Like, this is how I get my income. And it's so nice. I really like not having to worry about going to the trade hubs and making sure it all makes sense. And most of the time, it really does sync up with what you see in the estimations in your inventory. And you get about 90% of it. And it's better than Ren's. All right, so the things it's not good for, like we said, it's not good for blueprints. All right, I'm going to undock for now just so we can go fly around. It's not good for blueprints. It's not good for ore because ore is really expensive to move around. It might still make sense to sell your ore to them just because hauling your ore is really hard. Like when they do it, it's expensive because it's really annoying. But yeah, and then rare items, new items, skins, things like that. Sometimes they do make sense, but you just have to check if you want to be careful. And especially if the estimation is really high, then it's worth double checking that they're going to give you something around it, right? So it's not that hard to figure out the ones that are the most important. All right, so I'm just looking. So one of the reasons I love this so much is that even if you like hauling, bringing your stuff to market to sell it is dangerous. And basically you have two choices. To do that safely, what you have to do is have very well tanked ships that are very expensive and slow. And as an alpha, you can't really get a very good one. Or you have to have very little value in your cargo. And so that means making many trips. And so it's like you kind of can't haul more than 100 million at a time. But to me, my logic would be, oh, if I have to haul my stuff, I'm going to save it all up and haul like 500 million at once. But that's exactly what you shouldn't do because that's what makes you a target. So anyway, I love this because I can do 10 million at a time if that's what I want. If I'm in Highsec and I want to empty my cargo, there we go. Did it already happen? Look at that. Look at these beautiful babies. They did it already. I was hoping they would do it while I was on the video. That's amazing. Yesterday I was going to make this video and they actually took 4 hours and I was like just waiting for them to finish one so that I'd be able to do another one and it never came. But look at that. They're back on the ball. That is it. Look at that. Think about that. Faster than I could have just like gotten my ship ready to start jumping to a trade hub, let alone Jita. So yeah, I love being able to do it 10 million at a time. If I'm in high sec and I'm going to go to low sec, I'm like, why would I bring anything good into low sec with me and gamble it when I can just drop it off at a station? And if I'm hauling, no, if I'm doing exploration and I get a good thing, and I have 50 million all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to make my way to high sec, do one system of high sec, one station, drop everything off, and go back to work. Anyway, it's just excellent. So that's it. That's Highsec Buyback. I love them. If you love them, let me know how you use them in the comments. Let me know if there's anything I missed about Highsec Buyback. Do you like hauling? Maybe you should join them. I think they're hiring usually. Not alphas, I'm sure, but if you're a high level, high SP character that can do all the fancy giant jump raiders and blockade runners and things like that, then they might be interested in your help. And God bless Highsec Buyback. I am Jer. Please like and subscribe. I love when people support the channel. You can use my referral code, which is down in the description, to get 1,000,000 free skill points if you haven't yet on your account, or if you're starting new accounts, use the referral code to do it. It gives me a little bonus, gives you 1,000,000 SP, and it makes everyone feel good. So that's it. Highsec Buyback. I love you. Bye bye.